Hey everyone, welcome back to Azuria Place. My name is AJ, and today we're back for some more Pokemon Shield Egglocke adventures. Last time, we battled our way through Route 5 to make it to Hulbury, where we took down Nessa with a water badge, had a close encounter with some seafood, and got yet more painful reminders from Sonia about her inability to keep poor Joltik alive in his debut battle. If you haven't seen episode 1 or 2, you can catch up in my Egglocke playlist linked in the description. Egglocke rules are still in full effect, and won't be allowed to use any items in battle just to add that extra bit of challenge. Comment down below and let me know what you think of the series so far, or let me know which of your team members is your favourite. His comments really help out with the channel a lot, so please don't be shy. Without further ado, let's get into this week's episode. Having swept Nessa aside so easily, we are feeling confident and we're itching at our chance to avenge Skulltulas' death in the Galar Mines, where we'll face off against Speed once again. However, as we're in a new area, it's time to catch ourselves a new egg token in the form of an Noibat. Rather than run back to trade him in immediately, I decide to push on through the mines, and we can hatch multiple eggs at once we reach the other side and get another Pokemon from the Motostoke outskirts. Bede tells us it's a mercy to crush weak opponents early on, and I can't help but feel that's a jibe at Joltik. We fall for the taunt, and Bede starts off the battle with a Solosis as we send out a fired up Baloo. Baloo starts things off with a super effective bite, taking the cell Pokemon down below half health. Not leaving anything to chance, Baloo makes sure his opponent flinches, preventing it from launching an attack of its own this turn. Bede then uses a Super Potion to bring Solosis back to full health, as another bite quickly undoes the restorative effects. One final bite and Solosis falls to the mighty Fire Lizard. Next up is Kathita. That innocent look isn't fooling me this time. Baloo bites down hard, reducing the tiny god's HP by just over half, as she counters with a Psyshock, bringing Baloo down to half HP in return. One final bite allows Baloo to avenge Joltik for a second time, as Bede sends out Hitena. Considering he's a spawn of the devil himself, he has a lot of cute Pokemon on his team. A critical bite leaves a tiny hat at dangerously low health, as Bede lets us know that he has a special move for us. Psybeam. Talk about salt in the wind. Baloo munches his berry to restore some HP, and then munches his opponent with Fangs of Fire to incinerate the tiny hat Pokemon out of existence. Realising we have him cornered, and admitting not everyone can do this, he's looking at you, Hop. Bede sends out his My Little Pony. We recall Baloo and send Jaws out to tank the incoming confusion. Ponyta fires off another confusion, which Jaws tanks relatively well before he launches a Bug Bite to bring the unique corn Pokemon down to one short range. Ponyta clearly learned how to battle from the Lycanroc I use in my tournament series, as it launches the same attack over and over. After restoring some HP with an Oranberry, Jaws uses one final Bug Bite, and we take Bede down without any casualties. We sure showed him. Bede then tells us that we aren't weak, we just lack talent. I suppose I can't really argue with that one. He then tells us our chance of completing the gym challenge is pretty slim, and I'd say that's going a little bit too far. Not wanting to run back to the Pokemon Center after every battle, because where's the fun in that? We charge on to the next trainer, Worker Francis, who sends out his Carkol as we send out Ravio. Forgetting that fire types resist Fairy, we show off that lack of talent by using Draining Kiss as Carkol uses Rapid Spin to increase his speed. On the following turn, we are pelted by an ancient power, and luckily, no stat boost is gained as we use Play Nice to reduce our opponent's attack stat. Another Rapid Spin raises Carkol's speed once again, and Ravio uses his berry to restore some health, before another Play Nice reduces our foe's attack even further. Carkol switches up the game by using Flame Charge, another move that increases speed, as Fairy Wind does little more than tickle the Golgar Pokemon. Carkol hits Ravio with a critical smackdown, bypassing his lowered attack stat and taking us down to yellow health. Ravio gives his opponent a Draining Kiss while he's in close, dealing a small amount of damage and restoring 5 HP. We're in danger. Not wanting to lose another Pokemon in his debut battle, I make a risky play by switching in Calyx, who tanks the incoming Rapid Spin with ease, before launching an extra sensory against Sonic the Carkol. Gotta go fast. Thankfully, this trainer has just about as much talent as we do, and uses Smackdown rather than a Flame Charge, which allows Calyx the opportunity he needs to end the battle. Looks like Bede was right again. If we struggle to beat this random trainer, maybe the gym challenge isn't for us. With that near miss, we head back to the Pokemon Center to heal up and hear all about the super rare Pokemon at Wedgeford Station, before we press through the rest of the mines, easily sweeping aside the rest of the workers along the way. We come face to face with another 2 members of the young team, who would love to battle a trainer like me. You'd think they would have learned by now. Before we can throw down, Hop butts in and turns us into a 2-on-2. The Team Yell Grunts send out Thievul and Lanoon, as I send out Ravio to battle alongside Hop's Wooloo. Lanoon starts off by making baby doll eyes, and Wooloo's attack is lowered, while Thievul starts to work on a nasty plot, boosting his special attack stat. Ravio conjures up a Fairy Wind, which does just under half, as Wooloo gets to work with a double kick, which will allow us to take the Sneaky Fox Pokemon out on the following turn. Apparently these two don't like to attack, as a Sand Attack lowers Wooloo's accuracy, and a Tail Whip lowers both of our Pokemon's defense. Ravio makes use of this opportunity to finish off Thievul with a Draining Kiss, restoring himself to full health in the process. Wooloo then launches a double kick, which would have dealt some decent damage, but the sand in his eyes had other ideas. Thievul is replaced with a Liepard, as Lanoon makes yet more baby doll eyes at Wooloo. Liepard, furious that we took down Thievul, launches a barrage of Fury Swipes at Ravio, hitting 3 times, and dealing some decent damage thanks to the critical hit. However, that hard work is quickly undone with a Draining Kiss that brings Ravio back to full health once again. Hop then orders Wooloo to use double kick again, and despite the double attack drop, he pulls through, making a KO on Liepard. Maybe I've been too harsh on Hop. Jaws nets enough experience from inside his Pokeball for a level up, allowing him to learn Spark, which you have him learn in place of Electro Whip. Lanoon starts the following turn with a Night Slash that leaves Wooloo in death's door, as Ravio strikes with another Draining Kiss. Wooloo then charges headfirst into Lanoon, scoring a critical hit, and softening up the Raccoon for Ravio to finish on the next turn. Having realised he actually does like to attack, Lanoon decides to hit Ravio with a Lick, inflicting paralysis that seems to have a near 100% success rate when used against us. Wooloo then fires off another double kick, scoring a KO, making this competition with Hop a 2-1. Wooloo's really putting in the work. Our opponents then send out a Pancham that I was expecting to fill the empty slot left by Liepard. Wooloo eagerly charges forward, dealing little damage before the small panda swoops the tiny sheep off his feet, taking him out of action as Ravio succumbs to the paralysis. Hop sends out Corvisquire, who plucks away at the panda, taking him down to red health. Pancham then gets another low sweep off, hitting Ravio, who once again can't move due to the paralysis. One final pluck from Hop, and the battle is over, thus only putting in a fraction of the work. Good job, Hop. After chasing off the young team once again, we run into Kabu, the fire gym leader. He tells us we aren't far from Motostoke, and as it's getting pretty late, we should head for the hotel to get a good night's sleep before challenging him in the morning. That sounds like a not bad plan, but first, we have another egg token to collect. As we leave the mines, Hop tells us all about Pokejobs, which we won't be using, and we end up fighting a wild Sudowoodo in an attempt to catch our next egg token. As I've not shown you only the catching screen, I'm sure you can guess what's coming. Magical Leaf takes Sudowoodo down to yellow health, as the Mimic Pokemon uses Block, trapping us in the battle. Not wanting to risk KOing the Sudowoodo, I throw a Pokeball, but as Sudowoodo is a higher level than Calyx, the catch rate is lowered, and it breaks free. I hate that mechanic. An extra sensory brings a Pseudo Tree into the red, a perfect zone for catching, as a Tearful Look lowers our attack stat, which isn't much of an issue. Sudowoodo then breaks free once again, and fires off a Rock Tomb, decimating Calyx HP, and despite the recovery from the berry, I know he can't take another attack. This is where I need to decide if I risk losing Calyx, or give up on the Pokemon from this route. Currently, we have a lot of Fairy types, and a lot of Pokemon that are weak to fire, so Kabu will be an issue, and as such, I risk going for the catch, which of course fails. Then tails again. And then a Rock Tomb finishes off pure Calyx. We send out Ravio, and the next Pokeball we throw gets the triple shake, but no dice. We then get imprisoned with another block, and things are starting to look pretty poor. Thankfully, the next Pokeball does the job, and we have our token at the cost of Calyx. This better have been worth it. After dodging the trainers to make a mad dash to the Poké Center, I grab the new eggs and get to work catching. The eggs then hatch into Salandit that we call Din, and an Impidimp that we call Ganon. These are some pretty decent hatchies, as Din is female, so she will be able to evolve, and Impidimp's evolution, Grimmsnarl, is one of my favourite Gen 8 Pokemon. While taking down the trainers on the outskirts, Ravio learns Energy Ball, and my master plan can be set into motion. Between Ravio and Makar, I set out on a journey to rid the land of all Sudowoodo. One by one, they fall to Energy Ball or Giga Drain, with the odd acid thrown in when they have Sturdy to prevent the one-hit kill. As we are nearing the end of our pest extermination, we learn that Togepi loves genocide. Who knew? As she now becomes happy enough to evolve into Togetic. It's nice to see at least someone approves. Now that Togetic is a little stronger, we start to hunt down some Noctowl. His ancient power should deal some good damage. Or we could flinch. Long story short, we swap to Bokoblin, and he suffers the same fate as Calyx, taken down by a wild Pokemon. The shame. Not only have we lost the MVP of the Grass Gym, we have lost a key member for the Fire Gym. Let's have a quick look at the team members we have available. Other than Feebas, our Pokemon don't do great against fire. 3 are weak to fire, and 6 of them are resisted by fire types. So my plan to fight fire with fire has been ruined with the loss of Bokoblin. Fortunately, we have some egg tokens available in the wild area, so I head out to the wilds to see what I can find. And of course we one-hit KO the first Pokemon we tried to catch with a bug bite. Great start. We press on, and we end up catching a Duskull from the Watchtower Ruins, and a Wingull from South Lake Mylock. And these happen to hatch into a Ghastly and a Galarian Meowth, neither of which are going to be very good for the Fire Gym. Fantastic. After hunting down the last remaining Sudowoodo, we decide to call it a night and head to the hotel where Marnie is waiting for us. She challenges to a battle and starts off with Krogunk as we send out Ravio. The two Pokemon trade super effective blows, with Krogunk scoring a critical hit on Ravio, forcing him to use his Citrus Berry. Krogunk manages to hold on for another draining kiss, as Ravio is restored to almost full health before another Venoshock takes him down to just below half. Marnie intervenes with a super potion, bringing Krogunk back to full health. However, thanks to a slightly higher damage roll, the following 2 draining kisses are enough to bring Krogunk down while restoring Ravio to full health. Marnie sends out Scrafty, which is swiftly sent packing, and a single draining kiss drains all of his energy, leaving her unable to fight. Marnie then sends out Morpeko, who starts off the turn with a Thunderbolt that deals 13 damage, as Ravio's draining kiss takes Morpeko down to half health. Morpeko then enters its Hangry mode, which is basically me on a daily basis. However, the following Thundershock does little more than a tickle as Ravio's draining kiss finishes off the battle. With Marnie knocked out of the way, we catch some Z's and head off to the Fire Gym the following morning. The Fire Gym features a catching challenge, and I ran a poll over on Twitter to see if the Pokemon we catch here is allowed to be used as an egg token, considering this is technically a new area. The poll was a resounding success, with a total of 5 whole votes. But they were all yes, and that's all that counts. So I catch the Vulpix, finish the challenge, and head off to fight Kabu. The team for the Fire Gym consists of Valoo, Ravio, Tail, Lon, Din, and Ganon. So rather than fight fire with fire, we are fighting fire with fire and fairies. Close enough. Kabu starts off the battle with his Ninetales, and we start off with Valoo. I remember this Ninetales usually starts off with Will-O-Wisp the burn is, so having a fire type out will prevent the burn. The most boring battle in history then follows, with Ninetales going for quick attack as Valoo returns blows until we knock out the Nine-tailed fox with 46 HP to spare. Kabu then sends out Arcanine, and his Intimidate takes a chunk out of Valoo's attack. Arcanine goes for an Agility, which ensures he will outspeed anything we have, as Valoo delivers a vicious bite. We were hoping we would be faster and get the flinch, but that's never going to happen now. Arcanine bites Valoo in return, dealing decent damage, and forcing Valoo to munch down his Citrus Berry, restoring some health, as he counters with a Dragon Breath, while we pray for paralysis, which of course we don't get. The next turn plays out the same, with the 2 fire Pokemon trading blows, and Arcanine avoiding paralysis once again. Arcanine bites Valoo once more, this time causing a flinch. Not wanting to risk losing Valoo, we swap him out for Ganon, as Arcanine goes for another bite. Ganon manages to perform a fake out on Arcanine, causing him to flinch in return. Ganon then attempts to go for a Sucker Punch, which obviously fails as Arcanine uses this opportunity to inflict a burn with Will-O-Wisp, cutting Ganon's attack and inflicting some additional damage each turn. Ganon this time manages to connect with his Sucker Punch, as Arcanine decided he isn't already fast enough, and goes for a Flame Wheel to boost his speed more, while taking away most of her HP. Despite the recovery from the Oran Berry, Ganon is still too weak to be left in the battle, so we send Din out to deal more damage in his stead. Our opponent goes for yet another Flame Wheel to boost his speed to ungodly levels while scoring a critical hit. Great. I guess Arceus really isn't happy we killed all those Sudowoodo. Thankfully Din also knows Fake Out, so we get some free chip damage as we cause a flinch. We go for Poison Gas, hoping to be Textile, as Arcanine reverts to his tried and tested strategy of biting us, forcing another berry consumption, and you guessed it, another flinch. This isn't looking too good for us. On the following turn, another bite takes us down to just 9 HP, and Din once again flinches, so Arceus is 100% making sure we suffer. Talk about stressful. In an attempt to save Din, we swap to Lon Lon, who resists the oncoming bite, tanking the hit with ease. Finally, a reprieve. Arcanine, however, launches another Will-O-Wisp to burn us, as Lon Lon's Draining Kiss brings this beast of a fire dog into red health. Let's just take a minute to have a look at what we are up against. Kabu has 3 Pokemon, all with base stat totals over 500, which is pretty impressive for the 3rd gym. We, on the other hand, have 2 Pokemon that just break 400 with a total of 405, and one of those is basically out of commission already, while the rest of our team average out around the 300 mark. In addition to having lower stats, our typings don't exactly give us an advantage here either. So this is a tough battle. Now you might be wondering why Tail hasn't made an appearance yet, as his stats rival Valu's, but we'll get on to that shortly. For now, let's get back into the action. As we resist Bite, Arcanine goes for another Flame Wheel, taking us down to below half health, while forcing another berry usage for our team. Thank goodness held items are allowed in the rules. At this point, I decide to sack off Lon Lon, as I don't want to risk losing any of my other team members, but in hindsight, I could probably have swapped to Ravio to easily tank the hit. Ganon returns to the field, and his Fake Out manages to take Arcanine down to a sliver while netting a flinch before the burn damage kicks in. One final Sucker Punch finally takes down Arcanine, leaving Kabu with only one. His ace, Centiskorch. This is the sole reason Tail has been hiding in the background. As his last Pokemon is a Firebug type, it takes 4 times damage from rock attacks, which luckily we are packing in the form of Ancient Power. Here, another difficult choice is made, as we sack off Ganon to allow Tail to join the fight at full health. The Gigantamax Centipede wastes no time in firing off a Max Flutterby that blasts a tiny imp back to the Sacred Realm to be imprisoned once more. If only he had the Triforce of Power. Tail takes center stage and immediately draws in the power of the Wishing Star to unleash his true potential in the form of Dynamax. The giant bug fires off his Gmax Centiferno, taking away just under half of Tail's HP and trapping him in a fiery vortex. Unfazed, Tail launches a Max Rockfall, crippling the Firebug with a timely critical hit and setting up a Sandstorm. In true Azuria fashion, the Sandstorm rages on, chipping away the remainder of Centiskorch's health and winning us the battle. Talk about clutch. With that, we've earned ourselves a Fire Badge at the cost of poor Lon Lon and Ganon. I guess Speed was right after all. We do lack talent. And the gym challenge looks like it might prove to be too much for us. But we're going to try nonetheless. On that note, this seems like a good time to end the episode. I hope you enjoyed this episode of the Egglocke Challenge series, and if you're enjoying the series so far, please hit that like button and please subscribe to the channel. My goal is to reach 50 subscribers by the end of the month, and every sub really does help out. I hope you tune in next time, where we'll be hatching the egg we obtained from the fire gem, gathering some new friends as we cross the second half of the wild area, and then we'll see where adventure goes once we make it to Hammerlock City. As always, thank you so much for watching, and I'll catch you next time.